are you guys? Welcome back to the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your boy Fonz
and Quan. What's going on?
Man, can't call it. A couple announcements before we get started. The other day made 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
They made 1 year of Back Porch Sports Podcast, man. You know, later on the show, we're going to go down memory lane a little bit. And also, we have a new website, and the link is going to be in that description, as well as on the bottom of the screen.
Right.
So, y'all check it out. They got links to our social media, as well as links to the episodes of the podcast. And any type of business inquiries, it also has a link to our email, so y'all can get in contact with us. But thank you guys again from the top, from basically joining us and riding with us this whole year, man. We appreciate it, man. We really do, man, for real. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because it's been a journey.
Yeah. It seemed like it went slow but fast at the same time. Like it seemed like we've been doing it longer than a year, but
yeah, 1 year mark.
Yeah, it's been a good journey, but
it has.
Like I said, it seemed like a slow year as far as this goes. It seemed like it was a slow year. It seemed like we did so much in a year's time,
right?
That, but nevertheless, man, we a year in. We're planning on going a year more.
Yep. We got a lot of big things planned for this coming year, man. So, before we go ahead, let's go ahead and jump into some of these news and updates, man. The biggest story this week is Alvin Kamara.
Messed up your whole career. Out there in Vegas, thinking what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, huh?
Like, nah, brother. What happens in Vegas happens in America. Cause, dude, like, okay, so of course, everybody, the news came out Monday after the Pro Bowl that he got into a kerfluffle with the individual, right? Unfortunately, Kamara and his camp decided to give him the old 1-2, and the actual kerfluffle caused substantial bodily damage, and that is a direct quote from NFL.com, and also a direct quote from the actual police report that they casually put out on Twitter the following morning. I'm not going to go into details because the case is, under investigation and all that good stuff, but I will give my unbiased opinion.
Right.
I really feel like his career is over.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because
it goes in the books as kind of Ray Rice.
Yeah, Ray Rice.
And there's another one.
What's his name? Alden Smith-ish type stuff.
Adrian Peterson almost got that.
Who was that cat from the Cowboys? He was with the Panthers, but he was with the Cowboys, and he was just crazy. What's his name?
Was it Gregory?
But you know who I'm talking about. He was like an outside linebacker. Yeah. But with him,
Gregory, I don't know. I want to say Gregory Lawrence.
It's something like that. If y'all know his name, put it down in the comment and hit us up with that one. But come on, Alvin. What
Alvin?
Man, you, Simon, and Theodore out there. Come on, man. And I'm like, and I was disappointed. Like, from, and I'm not trying to be preachy or nothing, but from a us standpoint, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, come on.
Yeah. And I think it happened at a bar, right?
I want to say it did. It was at a nightclub. So same different.
So, it could have been some alcohol involved, and we know that alcohol can change behaviors of people, and we don't know the full story. We do know that he's suffering the consequences of whatever he did, and that that as a millionaire, as a player, as a well-known celebrity,
high-profile player,
Saints, that whatever you do is going to be highly watched.
But you're gonna be up under the scrutiny now.
You're gonna be on in the spotlight no matter where you go. Even if you try to be private with any of the things that you may do in your private life, most of the time the media is there to make a record of what you're doing. So to everybody out there, even within this podcast group that may be an athlete, because we really don't know. We know some of y'all, but we don't know what all y'all doing.
Right.
And, just be mindful and take this as a lesson that, when you become a superstar, when you become a celebrity, when you work for a $1 billion company, you have high standards, much is given, much is required.
Yep.
And what is required of you is to be professional on and off the field. You know what I'm saying? You got to know if you're going to go out and drink, control your liquor, man.
Pretty much. Don't let that brown monster come up on you.
Yeah, you got to understand what
or clear, whatever your flavor. Some people don't like brown.
But brown make you frown, white make it all right.
And gin make you sin. That's what he said.
But you got to take accountability of the mistakes that you make. Yeah. And, I'm pretty sure Alvin Kamara is regretting a lot of things that may have happened, if he even remembers what happened, depending on how intoxicated he may have been.
I hope either alcohol was the culprit. That's all I'm saying.
I'm praying so too, because he don't really look, looks and sounds as the most deceived. But, I didn't get that from him any of the way that he played or anything like that as a player. But like I said, but hey, I feel bad for him, man. I also feel bad for that Henry Ruggs kid that happened a few months ago, and I think it was in Las Vegas too.
Yeah,
with the Raiders.
Something going on in Vegas. But with Henry Ruggs, I can't even make any type of joke about that, because somebody lost their life in that situation. And then you got another cat from the Raiders that was just, I don't know. Maybe the NFL shouldn't have went to Vegas.
Maybe the players should stay out of Vegas.
Yeah,
because honestly, I plan on going to Vegas at the end of the year. I plan on going to Vegas. But when you got money,
and prestige,
and
you feel like you're tough.
You're a celebrity, and what I'm saying, you think you can get out of anything. Well, money don't get it. Prime example, money don't get you out of anything. He was going to serve time, 1 to 5 years. That's what I'm hearing. And I believe Alvin is in his mid-20s.
He's like 27. I want to say like he's 27.
Yeah. So if he do the maximum 5 years, he get out in his 30s. He probably won't be able to get back in the NFL by then. Maybe we'll have another Alvin Kamara in the league by the end. And then he was a very special player, but
for that team, for that city. And then you got to think about like the NFL punishment once his debt to society is paid. You know what I'm saying?
So that's a come on man moment. If y'all ever watch ESPN, and I think ESPN do that. Come on, man.
My favorite though was Chris Carter when he was up there though. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, for real, that like you said, that's a big come on, man moment, man. But hey, hopefully this is a lesson that he could carry, into his 30s and 40s when he's telling his kids, like, yeah, I messed up, but it's a way to redeem yourself.
You're right.
All right, so let's move on to another story.
Before we move, okay, I want to see where you're going first. Go ahead.
All right, so Coach Lovie Smith is now a head coach of the Texans. Now, while I applaud Coach Smith for becoming a coach, I really feel like the Texans did not want another Brian Flores situation. And I'm not hating. I'm not hating. Don't get me wrong. I am not hating. I mean, hey, I was a Lovie Smith fan back when he took Rex Grossman to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you know, the same man that had Devin Hester and Brian Urlacher on this team. So, hey, I'm glad he got it. But I really feel like the Texans was like, okay, let me go ahead and hire him. So he can, you know, we won't have that Brian Flores thing.
Yeah, you know, they got ways and, you know, to try to cover up some stuff just to keep the hind part covered.
You know, if you scratch my back, I scratch your head type stuff, you know.
Main thing that's still going on in Texans is Deshaun Watson. Most likely, I'm thinking that he still wants out of Houston.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to configure whatever they're going to. I don't know whether, well, they did hold him hostage.
For a whole season. Even when they wanted to trade, they wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, let's see whether they hold him hostage again. And, you know, that's very interesting that he has, you know, allegations against him and that the football team is holding him as if they are in cahoots on whatever the law enforcement is trying to, you know, that just came to me. But anyways,
I mean that's a good point though. That's a good point.
It's something. You know, the NFL team is holding you hostage, knowing that you have allegations against you in law enforcement. So is law enforcement cutting the NFL a deal or cutting that franchise a deal to say, hey, hold him hostage so we can prove him guilty? But you know, maybe I'm watching too many, you know, TV. You know, I have been watching Power. You know, and all that
Lord,
stuff.
you and Ghost.
So, you know, I'm with, so you know,
I've been watching Power and I've been watching Power and BMF lately. You know,
so
you know, some cahoots. You know? Somebody got some. But I mean, all jokes aside, though, that is interesting though, because
you know, and that just came to me, man. Like, you know, that's something I never really thought about when it first happened, but now, you know, just looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to let him go. And he wants out. And like my coach say from the Steelers, you know, we want volunteers, not hostages.
Ooh.
So, you know,
that's Mike Tomlin, boy.
Boy.
Mike Tomlin always got one for you, man. Like it never failed.
I'm trying to tell you, man. But you know,
I mean, big ups to Lovie Smith, though. Even what the situation is, what it is, big ups to Lovie Smith. I'm glad he got another opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, him and Tony Dungy were the first Black History moment. Him and Tony Dungy were the first Black head coaches to coach in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Another Black History moment. First Black quarterback to start in the Super Bowl was Doug Williams.
Okay.
And I got one more NFL Black History fact. The first Black NFL GM was none other than Ozzie Newsome.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, so we in there. We just not in there like we should.
Should be. Well, we in there. We in there.
And but we might have another Black GM though, because I read yesterday that the Steelers are interviewing Louis Riddick.
Yeah.
For the GM position.
I like that there. I like
out
that.
Out of everybody on ESPN though, I can rock with Louis Riddick though.
Yeah, man. I can rock with Louis Riddick. That, man. I think we should hire him. I think he know what he's talking about. I think he know what he's doing.
Yeah, he might have.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Kevin Colbert was a great GM.
He built a good team.
I mean, I
hate him, but he built a good team.
Players he brought in, and you know, Steelers don't do a lot of signings and free agency.
Right.
We have him on draft, and we draft pretty darn good, honestly. Mm-hmm. We really do. But I'm interested. I really want that to happen, though. I would love for that to happen. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. I mean, it'll be cool for not only the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it'll also be cool for the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. That's something I really want. Even though I'm no way, shape, of Steelers endorser, I would endorse Louis Riddick being the GM.
Right.
All right. So it's crazy. This is ironic because on the first episode, we talked about Matthew Stafford and the trade from Detroit to LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the second episode, we previewed the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Matthew Stafford is in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
On the anniversary of the Back Porch Sports Podcast. Not saying we had anything to do with it, but I did pick the Rams to represent the NFC. But so the game coming up Sunday, Cincinnati Bengals, LA Rams. I, for one, if you can go back maybe 7 or 8 months, we talked about different divisions and our predictions for the Super Bowl. I did not have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. I didn't have them winning the division, but the game of football is played in between the numbers as opposed to on a podcast.
All right.
But according to the notes that I do have, the Rams are 4.5 point favorites. Now, I don't know if that line moved up or moved down before us getting up here recording. But if I can make a prediction already early, I think the Rams are going to do it. Matt Stafford get his first ring.
I'm going to go. My pick is the Bengals.
Okay.
And I always say, right now, the Rams is more in a something to prove type of thing. They've been used 6 first-round picks in the last few years to get the players to kind of get them in a ready now mode, Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, very talented defense. Somebody, a hostage of Detroit, got out and came to Los Angeles.
His word hostage, man.
For his first year with the Rams, took him to the Super Bowl. He took Tom Brady out the playoffs. So he been doing pretty good. His season this year has been, I can say he had a pretty okay season. I'm not gonna say he MVP or
I ain't gonna say that, but
anything
just okay.
Like that, but he was pretty good. He showed the talent that he had, why he was drafted in the first round in the first place.
First overall pick, I believe.
The talent that Detroit wasted in Detroit with Matthew Stafford on that team.
And Calvin Johnson.
And Calvin Johnson. Even though he kind of caught Calvin Johnson on the wingtip, but he still balled out with him. And then you got Cincinnati. And Cincinnati, starting with the quarterback, Cool Joe. I mean, that young cat, man, that's a cool cat right there. I mean, I think he's somebody that everyday person can hang with, honestly. He don't talk too much.
Yeah,
and he's just cool, calm, and collected. And that's what you want from your leader. A person that's going to be taking care of your football and offensive side of the ball.
For at least 15 years.
And I just like the attitude of Cincinnati. I like what the fan base bring. They're going to come to that football game ready. And I'm just hoping that they can make it a game, even if they don't. Now, I got them winning, but I really think this is one of the best Super Bowls we had in the last few years.
Yeah,
and it's really
it's the best matchup anyway.
The toss-up matchup game between the two, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those low-scoring games as well. But I'm going to say Cincinnati. Hopefully, the young Bucks can pull it off. But if not, then credit to the Rams defense and what they're going to do on that offense, because we all know that the Rams defense is what keeps the Rams. So, But yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pick the opposite. Like I said, I picked the Rams mainly because of their defense. Cincinnati had the worst offensive line in the playoffs. And they got to go against Aaron Donald and Von Miller, them boys, on the biggest stage of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Donald, he's been there before, even though he didn't have a sack. But Von Miller been there. Von Miller was the MVP of a Super Bowl, and he's back.
Yeah.
And he's found some type of new drive, for lack of better terms. In the game against Tennessee, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times.
And I was just about to refer to that game.
Yeah.
That's what gives me confidence about the Cincinnati Bengals. Just the offensive line, these last few weeks haven't been looking so great. And they gave up 9 sacks against Tennessee Titans. And they still lingered in that game. Now, granted,
Tennessee let them stay around,
Tennessee let them stay around. And Tennessee really isn't the most dominant team to face. Like I said, I feel like once you isolate Derrick Henry and you cause Ryan Tannehill to become a passer, I believe you win that game every time. Until they find a better passer, until they find some type of offense that they can be a threat both ways, then they're not going to go nowhere. They really not. Like I said, and then but either way, they gave up 9 sacks. And most of the time, if the team gives up that many sacks, that means your third down possession, your third down conversions weren't all that great. And most of the time, the opposite team going to have the ball possession longer, which I think they did. Mm-hmm. And they still won the game. So, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is a week-by-week league. And this year really proved that it's a week-by-week type of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Teams that maybe the hype, maybe, the underdogs really proved themselves this year.
They have, like but
the hype team
one thing about Cincinnati though, like they could have lost at least twice in these playoffs. The wild card game against the Raiders, everybody knows some flim flam going on there. The game against the Titans, the Titans pretty much let them hang around, and then it took overtime to beat the Chiefs. Now it's becoming increasingly easy to beat the Chiefs now, because what is everybody doing? Cover 2. Take it off top. You know what I'm saying? You can play around with Travis Kelce. And I said this at the end of the last year's Super Bowl. You can beat me with Travis Kelce. I'm gonna give you that, but Tyreek Hill ain't gonna beat me. Right. So, like I said, they had the worst offensive line in the playoffs on both the AFC and the NFC sides. If the Rams sacked Joe Burrow 9 times, they're not winning. They're not going to win. And let me go back to Matthew Stafford. You said he had an okay season. I think he had a better season than okay. He pretty much made Cooper Kupp an MVP candidate.
Cooper Kupp was over MVP candidate when Jared Goff was over yonder.
So but he didn't have a season like he had this year. He got the triple crown in receiving. Come on, he leading receiving yards, leading receiving touchdowns. All of it. He didn't have that with Jared Goff, and they run the same system. But the system is more fit for Matthew Stafford than it was for Jared Goff. The thing is, Cooper Kupp, you double team Cooper Kupp, you still got Odell Beckham out there. My thing is, I ain't even got on the Rams defense. Like I said, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, you still got Jalen Ramsey back there, who has already said he wants Jamar Chase. Now, I don't know how good that matchup is going to be because Jamar Chase is a problem. But that's like
Ramsey is a problem.
That's like the matchup I'm really anxious to see, is that Jamar Chase Jalen Ramsey matchup. But I really feel like the Rams match up the best with that defense, with that offense, excuse me. So, the Ravens matched up pretty well with them, but, we had second and third stringers out there the entire time, but it ain't about us. But I got the Rams winning, and I'm locking that down. I'm locking that in. I got the Rams winning in a convincing manner, especially if they really get after Joe Burrow early. If they get after him early, it's over.
Yeah. Well, I know outside of the game, I know that it's going to be a great halftime show.
Yes.
I'm excited to see that.
Y'all going to see who raised me.
Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J.
My entire playlist is going to be on the halftime show.
I think that's it.
I think last year was the Weeknd that was up there. That was strange. I didn't like that halftime show. It was terrible. But big yikes. But I'm going to tune in just for that, and I'm going to watch the game, of course. But I'm really tuning in just for the halftime show. Oh man,
yeah, that halftime show is going to be dope.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm going to be here geeking out, man. They're going to have to put me out somewhere. But all right. So like as promised at the top of the show, like we said, this is our 1 year anniversary of the Back Porch Sports Podcast. And we actually hit a lot of milestones. We hit a lot of milestones within this 1 year. All right, so let me start off. So we thought about it over the summer, back in the height of the pandemic. It was like, because I think you put on Facebook that you wanted to do a podcast with somebody.
I had inboxed you about it, I believe.
You have inboxed me about it, and then I was like, hey, shoot, I was thinking about the same thing. I mean, I was home. I thank God I was still able to work, but I couldn't work in the capacity that I did because everything was shut down. But I'm sitting home and I'm like, yo, yeah, that's a good idea. So that day, I just started coming up with concepts. I'm like, okay, we can put this here, with that there. And we didn't name it. So then we was, then it just came to us like Back Porch Sports, because every time we had conversations, we was always on that doggone back porch.
Yeah, I was on that doggone back porch.
Now, what goes on the back porch gonna stay out there, because that's some stuff we talked about. I can't put out there in the world.
Yeah, buddy. Some good times out there, buddy.
Great. It was some great times out there. I mean, we talked about life, we talked about sports, we went out there and cut up. But that back porch was symbolic, and that's why we decided to name this here podcast Back Porch Sports Podcast, right?
Right.
So we went live, the first episode, on February 8th, 2021. Now, the significance of that first episode was we actually recorded it twice, and it was a combination of both episodes, because somewhere we messed up. I forget where we messed up at. But if you go way back and listen to that episode, you'll see that it sounds different, and as well as it's kind of processed different. I think we recorded, like, we did the first episode, we did that twice, and then that same day we recorded the Super Bowl episode.
No, I'm not for sure.
I think we did
something like that.
It was something like that because I distinctly remember editing 2 episodes and putting 2 episodes out in the same day. Yeah, so it was some work, because like we said, we were starting out. We kind of felt our way through it. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And then we ain't had no music. So I wish you could cue that track up, man. We had that funk track. That funk track, man. And I'm like, I listened to the episode after we put it out there. I was like, nah, we gotta find something. We had to find music that said us, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we used a pre-recorded track for the first intro. So if you go back to the first episode and you hear this little funky thing, that's not ours. That came on the equipment that we was using. Couple more milestones. Actually, the first, how many episodes we recorded in my living room?
10.
And then about the first 10, maybe 12 episodes 15. Was recorded. It's between 10 and 15. Yeah. It was recorded in my living room when I was living in Greenville at the time. And a lot of preparation had to be made. Like we had the smoke detector in there, and I put fresh batteries in it. Trust me, I try to be safe. I put fresh batteries in there, and that joint still beat. So I had to get some electrical tape and put over the speaker.
Oh man, good.
Oh man, I mean, I'm telling you, man, we came out the gutter, man.
From the trenches.
I mean, so you remember my roommate, right? You remember that time we was recording an episode? I mean, we was like mid-episode, and he just busted the house. Open the door, y'all. If I forget what episode it is, I might have to go back and listen to it. But in the middle of the episode, you hear something going. And I'm like, bro, you see me with this mic out here. But I mean, all of that, man. It was an incredible journey. Like, I can't think of a better thing to do than to record a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because you're able to get your opinion out,
right? And
you can do it in a manner that you choose to do it.
All right.
So, and one more thing. In the beginning, we started with just plain audio, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe about the second season, like we on the tail end of the second season now. So it was sometime in April, May, somewhere around when we started doing video. And let me tell you, that was a journey.
Yeah.
The first episode, and it's on YouTube, the first episode that we did, and we introduced the video, I recorded that joint in my bathroom. I recorded that joint in my bathroom. Like I had to, because see, my toilet was always running water for some reason. It was like every 5 to 6 minutes it'll run water. So what I did, I had to turn the main valve off so I can get the actual sound that I needed and record in my bathroom. And I was recording with the camera on my MacBook that's sitting in front of me. And needless to say, we've grown since then. Like,
yeah.
But it was
graciously.
I mean, just the stories that we could share, especially about the beginning days. That's the days I missed. Though I missed them early days of the Back Porch Sports Podcast, man. Just some of the stories that I can share. I ain't even gonna put it out there, but needless to say, it was fun.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, it's been a long year. It's been a long year, but we here where we at now. We still ain't done yet.
Nah, we still kicking.
Right now I do think we are cruising. We on the steady point right now. We found something that works. We comfortable being really struggling to make content, and
right.
We're in a comfortable, place. When we was starting out, it was kind of like, what do we do here? What do we do there? What we need to do there? Oh, we got to do this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. Now we just get out here, we just record and put it up there and do our little edits, and voila. It's like 1, 2, 3 magic right now. Before like you had edits, bippity bop, and they had to turn that. And
I ain't even touched on that, man. Y'all see people that don't do podcasts, but y'all don't know the struggle. I had to learn quick. So my computer used to be slow. I mean, when I got my MacBook, it was free, and I think if you hear me out there, I appreciate y'all. So I got my MacBook. I had to upgrade it I had to put some more RAM and put another hard drive in there so it could speed up. Edits were taking me between 3 and 4 hours. And it wasn't the cutting stuff out. It was the actual processing of the file. And it'll take about 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, man, this can't be. Like, this ain't it. But, now as we've grown, and like you said, I'm picking back off what you just said, like we have a system now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that comes through learning and comes through, actually doing. I'm a hands-on person anyway. So it comes through actually doing it. So, this little multimedia empire we trying to build, man, hey, that's what we try to do.
Right.
Well, man, it's been a great year. And I mean, yo, here's to another year, man. Like,
yeah. It's like I said, man, it's been a long, progressive year. We done made progress, and like I said, we still got a lot of ground to cover. We ain't even to the 50-yard line yet.
Man, so we just getting the ball, to be honest.
We just got a touchback, and we had to
like the game just started. It's 14-59 in the first quarter, man. Like we still
we got a lot of ground to cover, and
yeah.
As y'all go and look at the old videos, and I encourage y'all to go do that and kind of be a witness of the growth of this show.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they start shows and they get it on a silver platter. Well, not this one. This show started from an idea, from a plan to an idea to a platform.
Yeah.
So
one more story. So you remember when we had our first meeting? I was living, like I said, you was in Washington, I'm in Greenville. So I drove to Washington. It was about 12 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep because the whole excitement of being able to do a podcast, it was just intriguing. So I get there. We sat in my car till like 4 in the morning talking about where we wanted to go with this podcast. We said we wanted to be big and just out there. And I feel like, the same energy we put in that meeting, I feel like that's what we're doing, because we're doing everything we can and still learning how to make it better. What can we use? Like, I mean, if you see the amount of money we've spent in this podcast and still ain't done, like, man, like, it gotta look good, gotta sound good, you know what I'm saying, but it's cool though, because this is what we do.
If y'all don't know the struggle of a podcast, I encourage you to try to do one.
Yes.
and then you will see exactly.
You will see
what the things that you have to do in order to make a successful one.
Most definitely, man.
That being said, we appreciate y'all, and we thank y'all for being on this journey. Like we said, man, it's been an interesting, progressive journey. But we here. We are where we at now, and we plan on being even bigger. Plan on being on ESPN, maybe on 101.9. We don't know. I'm
gonna be somewhere. I'm gonna be. We gonna do something.
We got our eyes on the prize. So
yeah. And y'all, thank y'all, like, for real, from the bottom of my hearts, man. Like, for real. And I'm sorry I can speak for Quan when I say this. Like, thank y'all for encouraging and riding with us, even interacting with us, man. Like, I had people come to me when we had our break last summer, and it was like, man, when y'all put a new episode out? I'm like, man, I'm on hiatus right now. I'm trying to, take a break from. But that, I mean, so the name is out there. But I encourage y'all.
I was surprised when I went on Google the other day, searching up my name and all that stuff popped up on Google. Man, I was like, good gracious sake, man.
It's out there. It's out there, man. And I mean, just for the country and the world to hear our voices, man, and see, two brothers doing something positive. You know what I'm saying?
Right. For once. Yeah.
For once. We're not, I'm not interested. We're not interested in, like, competing with nobody else or anything like that. Like, we just trying to be positive, So when we have kids, our kids can take over the empire. I can sit back in my rocket chair. Yeah, boy, you hit record.
I ain't funny. I ain't messing with you, man.
But look, again, I encourage y'all to check out the website and everything. Like I said, the link, everything gonna be in the description on both the YouTube platform as well as the Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever your flavor is, it's gonna be there. So that being said, this has been the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your boy Fonz
and Quan.
And we out. Peace.
Peace.